Must be some stamps somewhere.
Time to face the music, sister dear. What's going on, Cher?
Julian, I told you to never creep up on me like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to creep up. What has you in a tizzy today?
You know I hate being in this room. It brings back bad memories.
I told you to forget about that night, damn it, to stop bringing it up. But you're determined to go against everything I say, aren't you?
I can't help
You
it.
humiliated me when you sided with the police chief when I told him to fire Luis. Now you're carrying on about this story again. I don't want to hear it. Not ever again. Just drop it.
Drop it? How can I forget about a corpse lying under a bloody sheet right here in this room? How can I forget my own hands covered in blood?
It's easy. It never happened.
It never happened. I remember exactly what happened that night. I know what I saw, and I know what I did. You can't make something go away just because you wanted to, Julian. I remember exactly what happened that night. I know what I saw, and I know what I did.
Come on, Sheridan. This farce has gone far enough.
Farce?
Now, your ridiculous memories of what happened that night. The truth is, nothing happened. You did nothing. You fell asleep on the couch. You had a bad dream. End of story.
I can't believe I'm hearing this.
Father and I heard you screaming. We came running in here. You were screaming some crazy story about a dead body. But that's all it was. A story. A child's made-up story.
I didn't make it up. I did not dream it.
Figment of a young girl's imagination. That's all it was.
I know what I saw. And I'm not the only one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Listen to me, Sheridan. No one must ever know about what happened, about what you've done. Never. No one.
I can't remember who told me to keep a secret, but I did just that. I kept it a secret and I did not make it up.
Because you dreamed that some man told you to keep quiet about something. That makes it all real? Please.
I didn't dream it.
Then don't you think you'd have recognized that man, the man that told you to keep quiet about what happened?
I've tried to see his face, but I can never see who it is.
That's because you were dreaming.
I'm sure it was real.
Sheridan, this all started when Mother died. You were in an emotionally fragile state.
I don't want to talk about that.
You always felt that Father blamed your birth for our mother's eventual death.
He did blame me. But Mother loved me, and I was the only one in this house that loved her.
You were too young to know anything about who loved whom. Mother died when you were an infant.
But I know that once I was loved in this house. After Mother died, I never felt loved again. I felt nothing.
Oh, poor Sheridan.
I don't want your sympathy, Julian. I just want to know what happened that night.
I've already told you.
There was a body under a bloody sheet. I saw it.
You stop this, Sheridan.
No. And you're out of your mind if you think that you could convince me that that night never happened.
I'm not out of my mind, Sheridan, but it's very possible that you are.
Now you're trying to convince me that I'm out of my mind? You'll go to any lengths to convince me that that night never happened. Why?
Because it never happened.
But that's just not true.
You know, I'm not the only one who thinks that you have a tenuous hold on reality. Father has expressed concern on numerous occasions.
Father. I don't believe you.
Yes, Father is quite concerned. He was sure you were out of your mind when you were raving about a dead body in this room that night. He was afraid you'd spread your wild stories all over Harmony. That's why he sent you away to France.
I remember how afraid I was. How confused I was that I had to go away.
Well, we all hoped that the French psychiatrists would help you. Apparently they haven't.
Oh, I remember them too. They kept trying to tell me that my memory about that night was wrong, that it didn't happen.
And they were right. God, makes me just furious when I think of all those years with all those doctors, and you still cling to that ridiculous story of yours.
Well, if it's just a story, then why didn't you tell Ethan that there was never a body under a bloody sheet?
Because I only found out recently that Ethan even knew your story. We didn't want him to think of his aunt as a raving lunatic. Better to have him think there was a corpse in this room than a crane in the asylum.
I am not insane, Julian. You'd like me to think that I am, but I saw what happened. I did not make the events of that night up. You're afraid, aren't you?
Me? Afraid of what?
Afraid that I'll find out the truth. You started worrying when I told you I was going to get to the truth, didn't you?
There's no truth, Sheridan. The family's worried about you. You have to admit you've been behaving in a rather bizarre manner lately.
Bizarre? What are you talking about?
Well, throwing pies at a police officer on a public street, you don't call that strange, at least?
Julian, it was Halloween. I told you I thought Luis was someone else. It was a silly mistake.
What about fighting with me in front of Chief Bennett? Was that a prank, too?
No. I was very serious. You tried to get Luis fired for something he didn't even do.
That's what worries me, Sheridan, and Father, too.
You told Father?
Of course. He'd already heard about your little Halloween prank from his sources, but when he called this morning, I told him about our fight. He was not a happy man.
Why did you have to tell him?
There's nothing to hide from our father. By the way, he's coming home earlier than planned.
He is? Why, because he doesn't trust you to handle me?
I'm doing you a favor by warning you, Sheridan. If you keep talking about dead bodies in this room, Father's going to lock you up and throw away the key.
Oh, you're just trying to frighten me.
Do not test Alistair. And don't tell your policeman friend about this.
Luis is not my friend.
Good, you just keep it that way. Because if you get the police involved...
Why are you worried if that night never happened?
We don't want people speculating about the family, but if you do anything to cause police involvement, Father will not step in and save you. Not this time.
I'm not crazy. I didn't make it up.